And then on Tuesday we'll do 5-second sprints to work on speed. But listen, it doesn't sound like a lot, but like they said, the speed is very systemic.
Joseph Parker's training looks sharp, disciplined footwork, crisp combinations, and a hunger that can't be ignored. Analysts like Johnny Nelson highlight his resurgence, proving Parker has rebuilt his confidence. But the real question is whether this polished version can withstand Usyk's relentless rhythm when they finally share the ring.
I believe Joseph Parker will come in at career heaviest, and he's put that weight, and I think one to absorb and to be able to.
That's real confidence from Parker. His claim of being the best shows how much his mindset has shifted. He's not just training hard, he's speaking like a man ready for war. Still, stepping up against Usyk is the ultimate test, where self-belief must meet world-class execution.
And if he beats Usyk, he's the best in the world. And he's a great friend of mine, but I'll fight anyone and everyone to be the best, because I know I'm the best.
And Parker's belief is echoed by others too, with Tony Bello admiring his preparation and current form. Parker's training camp has clearly stunned many seasoned eyes, with pros like Bello convinced no one can touch him at the moment. His sharpness is undeniable, yet we must remember, Usyk is a master technician, a genius at dismantling styles. That's what makes this clash fascinating. Parker's form versus Usyk's brilliance.
And I never will. There's no one who's going to beat him. I just think technically, physically now, he's at the weight and he's adapted and he's adjusted. I mean, he's even adjusted and adapted his weight for this fight individually. I mean, he put on how much weight and slowed his actual feet down because Daniel Dubois' feet were slow.
Next, Carl Frosch weighed in with his perspective on Parker's progress and whether he truly poses a threat to Usyk. Carl Frosch raises the most telling point. Parker's training is impressive, his speed and work rate are clear, but those past defeats still hang heavy. Against Usyk, there's no place to hide, no dips in focus allowed. That's why this fight is so compelling. Has Parker truly turned a corner?
Parker's done everything he needs to do now to warrant a shot at Usyk. But would you even give Joseph Parker a chance at Usyk? It'd be an interesting fight. Quite fast hands, high work rate. But let's not forget who Parker's lost to already. I mean, lost to Dillian Whyte a few years ago, and he's since been beaten a few times by people that really couldn't lace Usyk boots. And I'm not having a go at Joseph Parker. And I do think that if anybody deserves a fight, he does. He deserves the fight, deserves the payday. But is anybody realistically giving Joseph Parker a chance against Oleksandr Usyk?
And Johnny Nelson doubled down on Parker's form, describing his training as nothing less than bombastic. Johnny Nelson's admiration says it all. Parker's camp has impressed even the sharpest boxing minds. His conditioning, his focus, his output, all look transformed. But admiration won't win titles against Usyk. It's about sustaining that level under fire. That's where the true measure of Parker's progress will be revealed.
Ist in meiner Zusammenfassung aufgetaucht. Dieser Kerl hat Mut. Seine Naivität ist angenehm. Wenn er da reinkommt, scheint er ungefährlich zu sein. Und er hat sein Herz und seine Seele zurückgelassen. Er hat sein Herz und seine Seele an diesem Ort zurückgelassen.
Frank Warren highlights the business reality. Parker's shot isn't just hype, it's mandatory. And that makes his training camp even more important because the opportunity is guaranteed. Parker looks sharper than ever, combining speed with renewed confidence, and that's why promoters believe he's earned his chance. But let's not forget, Usyk is not just a belt holder. He's a generational talent who turns mandatories into masterclasses. While Parker has stunned the boxing world with his resurgence, the real test is whether he can sustain that high work rate against a fighter who thrives on exposing even the smallest weaknesses. Warren's excitement about staging this fight in the UK only fuels the anticipation. Parker has positioned himself perfectly, but now he faces the toughest stylistic challenge in modern heavyweight boxing.
As I was saying before the fight, we now know who holds the belts, who's the number one, and he's going to have to make his mandatories now. And his first mandatory is the WBO against Joe Parker. So Joe Parker will get his opportunity. That's BO basically said we've got to start negotiating with each other, and that's what we're doing. I'd love to put the fight on in the UK.
And Andy Lee, Parker's own trainer, explained in detail what changes in camp have prepared him for Usyk's style. Andy Lee pinpoints the key adjustment. Parker no longer takes breaks. That single change could be crucial because Usyk is notorious for punishing any lapse in concentration. The fact that Parker's camp has drilled this so relentlessly shows how seriously they're preparing for Usyk's rhythm. Parker's pace, footwork, and engine are all sharper, and his refusal to fade in sparring sessions has impressed many seasoned observers. Yet, Yet, as much as Parker has improved, Usyk has built his entire legacy on exploiting mistakes. His ability to step up the tempo when his opponents breathe is unmatched, and Parker will need to stay flawless over 12 rounds. Lee's analysis highlights just how much they respect Usyk's skill, while also showcasing Parker's determination to rise to the occasion. This isn't empty talk, this is genuine preparation to challenge one of boxing's smartest fighters.
Everybody wants to fight the best of their era. Hamza wants to fight Canelo, Joe wants to fight Usyk. We always want to challenge ourselves as fighters, and we're up for the challenge.
Spencer Oliver's take underlines the growing consensus. If anyone deserves Usyk next, it's Joseph Parker. He's waited his turn, rebuilt his form, and impressed the boxing world with training footage that shows a sharper, hungrier fighter than we've seen in years. This mandatory isn't just about politics, it's about merit. Parker's high output, clean technique, and conditioning suggests he could at least make Usyk work in ways few others have. But Oliver also hints at the deeper reality. While Parker is the rightful challenger, Usyk remains the ultimate puzzle. Every so-called biggest challenge has ended with Usyk raising his hands, smiling, and proving once again that his adaptability outclasses raw power or pressure. Parker's preparation makes this fight exciting, but the real intrigue is whether his improvements can last long enough against a man who dismantles champions with ease.
Who's going to beat him? You know, who is that guy? I think the guy that deserves a shot next, by the way, is Joseph Parker. He's the guy that's been waiting, and I think the WBO have mandated that fight. So unless Oleksandr Usyk vacates the belt, he will have to fight Joseph Parker next. That'll be an interesting fight. That's probably...
And even legends like Roy Jones Jr. weighed in, explaining why Parker might be Usyk's hardest test right now. Roy Jones Jr. makes a compelling case of all the heavyweights available. Parker might offer Usyk the hardest test. His blend of experience, improved work rate, and sharper combinations mean he's entering this clash with far more momentum than in past years. Jones isn't saying Parker will beat Usyk, but he recognizes the Kiwi's evolution makes him the most suitable opponent right now. Parker's recent performances and training intensity highlight just how seriously he's preparing. Yet Jones also knows Usyk thrives on dismantling challenges. Every opponent who was supposed to test him, Joshua Dubois Chisora, ultimately fell short. That's the harsh reality Parker must overcome. This isn't just about being in shape, it's about sustaining elite execution against a fighter who reads the game better than anyone in the division.
Joseph Parker is the best fight for him right now because Joseph Parker is a guy who has the qualities and the experience that it would take to give Usyk the hardest time. I'm not saying he's going to beat Usyk by no means, but he will give Usyk the hardest time of anybody. And if anybody, I think if they said, Roy, you got to take one guy right now, put your money on against Usyk, who would it be? It will be Joseph Parker.
Adi Oladipo highlights something key. Parker's callouts don't feel hollow anymore. They've grown sharper, more confident, and more convincing. That shift reflects a fighter who's rediscovered his belief and sharpened his tools to back it up. Fans and analysts alike are beginning to view Parker as a genuine option, not just a name floating around the division. And that's why Oladipo says he'd rather see Parker against Usyk than anyone else. But beneath the excitement, the question remains, will Parker actually land the fight? And if he does, can he translate callouts into execution under the lights? Usyk is a master at silencing noise, stripping away hype, and exposing technical gaps. Parker's newfound conviction is admirable, but whether it stands firm against Usyk's relentless skill set is the real story.
These call-outs are so unique. I feel like it's going to fall on deaf ears.
Unfortunately, it will.
I appreciate the call-out.
I appreciate that. I remember he did it with Dylan White and Anthony Joshua last year. And every one of them, they just get better and better. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I will say this now, right? I would rather see Parker versus Usyk than Dubois versus Usyk. I'll say it now.
Really?
I don't think we'll get Parker with Usyk, but I would rather see it.
Why?
And Johnny Nelson brought things back to reality, reminding everyone exactly what Usyk did to Daniel Dubois. Nelson's reminder is chilling. Usyk dismantled Daniel Dubois piece by piece, stripping him of every strength he had. That's what makes this Parker fight so intriguing. On one side, Parker is being praised for his sharp training camp, his relentless pace, and his hunger to prove himself. On the other, Usyk remains the master surgeon of the division, calmly neutralizing threats and dismantling fighters who once looked dangerous. Nelson's analysis cuts straight to the point. Usyk doesn't just win, he takes away confidence, movement, and belief. If Parker steps in unprepared for that mental and physical breakdown, his impressive camp won't be enough. But if his new no-breaks engine holds, this could become one of Usyk's most demanding nights in the ring.
What he did to Daniel, it took away everything, all his attributes. He took away his jab, took away his power, took away his movement, took away his confidence, to the point where Daniel was putting his backside on the floor thinking, wow, you know, we're only in round 5 here and I'm getting chopped up. This guy, Usyk.
Joseph Parker's direct call-out leaves no doubt. He wants Oleksandr Usyk next. There's no hesitation, no detour, just a straight aim at the top man. In the division, this is a fighter who knows he's rebuilt himself and is now ready to cash it all in against the very best. On one hand, it's admirable confidence. Parker's training camp has shown sharper reflexes, relentless pace, and a hunger that fans haven't seen in years. On the other, it's also a gamble, because Usyk is the ultimate litmus test. Parker says he's ready to negotiate, but the negotiation won't be in contracts. It'll be inside the ring, where Usyk controls tempo like a grandmaster. This isn't about wanting the fight, it's about proving he belongs on that stage. The fact Parker is chasing Usyk so directly tells us he feels the time is now.
Yeah, I want Usyk next. I know Usyk's deserves his time to relax and chill with his family. When he's ready, I'll love to open up negotiations and see if we can make the fight happen.
Just that.
Roy Jones Jr.'s breakdown captures exactly why Parker has forced his way back into the elite conversation. Unlike lumbering heavyweights who try to rely on sheer size, Parker has refined himself into a quicker, sharper operator. His combinations flow with speed. His timing looks better under Andy Lee, and his confidence has grown noticeably since teaming up with his trainer. Jones is right, this version of Parker looks more comfortable than ever. That's why this fight is intriguing, because stylistically, Parker has the tools to at least make Usyk think. But here's the key. Usyk thrives against mobile, fast fighters because he's even faster upstairs, always one step ahead in the mental chess match. Parker's resurgence is real, and Jones is correct to label this as a good fight for both men. But to actually trouble Usyk, Parker will need more than comfort. He'll need sustained brilliance for 12 grueling rounds.
The best guy right now is Joseph Parker. Why? Because he's not a big heavyweight. He's quick, he throws combinations. He has a great trainer with him now in Andy Lee, and he's more comfortable than I've ever seen him in his whole career. And so I think that is actually a very good fight for both fighters.
So here we are, the moment the boxing world has been circling. Joseph Parker, praised by legends, backed by promoters, and sharpened under Andy Lee, is on the brink of the biggest test of his career. Oleksandr Usyk, Parker's training camp has stunned pros who never thought they'd view him as a true threat again. His speed, combinations, and newfound gas tank have people whispering that maybe, just maybe, he could give Usyk problems. But let's be clear, Usyk isn't just another champion. He's a once-in-a-generation technician. He breaks fighters mentally as well as physically, turning strengths into weaknesses and momentum into exhaustion. If Parker's no-breaks engine holds, this could be the most demanding night Usyk has faced. If it doesn't, we could see another clinical dismantling from the Ukrainian master. The stakes are massive. Parker seeks redemption and a world title, while Usyk aims to cement his dominance as the era's defining heavyweight. Fans aren't just watching a fight, they're watching history take shape. But what do you think? Does Parker's resurgence make this Usyk's toughest challenge yet? Or will the master technician prove once again that he's untouchable? Drop your thoughts below and join the debate.